ಹೆಲೋ ಡಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಫಿಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಮಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾಯಿತು ಅಂದ್ಕೊತೀನಿ. ನಾಳೆ ಬರುವಂತಹ ಬಯಾಲಜಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಗೆ ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ MCQsನ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ವಿತೌಟ್ ವೇಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್. Hello students, today we are with one more model question paper of Karnataka CET Biology subject. So let us start with the first question. What is the function of GLUT4? So as you know, GLUT4 is an insulin responsive glucose transporter, and it is primarily present in skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle and adipose tissue, and this helps or enables glucose to transport into the cell from the blood. So this receptor helps to transport glucose into the cell. Second question, cell in the quiescent stage. Cell in the quiescent stage metabolically remains active but do not proliferate. Cells exit after G1 phase of mitosis. They do not proliferate but they are metabolically active. Consider the following statement 1, 2 and 3 regarding the criteria for the essentiality of nutrients in plants. So first statement, in the presence of elements is must for plants to complete their life cycle. This is the correct statement. Second, the role of elements can be replaced by another in their life cycle. No. Role of one element cannot be replaced by another element. For example, magnesium is very essential for chlorophyll. It cannot be replaced with any other metal, any other element. The element must be directly involved in the metabolism of plant. This is also right statement. So accordingly, option A is the right answer for this question. During chemoosmotic synthesis of ATP in photosynthesis, chemoosmotic process is for ATP synthesis during photosynthesis in the chloroplast. So during this process, the proton H+, the proton accumulates within the lumen of the thylakoid. Thylakoids are present in the chloroplast. So in the lumen of the thylakoid, we can find the accumulation of proton H+ ion. When tripalmitin, it is one fatty acid, when it is used as a respiratory substrate, the process consumes 145 molecules of oxygen. The oxygen consumed 145 and the release of carbon dioxide is 102. So when you take the respiratory quotient 102 divided by 145, you will get respiratory quotient for this fatty acid is less than 1, that is 0.7. In the next question, identify the incorrect statement with response to biocontrol agent. Biocontrol agent is one biological method to control the plant diseases. So the incorrect statement we need to identify. They do not show any negative impact on crop plant. This is the correct statement. They help to increase the use of synthetic pesticides. This is the incorrect statement because the use of biocontrol agent decrease the use of synthetic pesticides, and they are significantly in treating ecological sensitive area, and they do not affect any non-target pest. So these are all the correct statement, and option B is the incorrect statement regarding biocontrol agent. A farmer has applied chemical fertilizer in the crop for many successive seasons. The crop growth was poor as soil lost its fertility. Suggest the suitable microorganism that replenishes the fertility of the soil in this field. So the microorganism that can be grown in that soil to increase its fertility is nostoc, because nostoc is a blue-green algae. It helps to enhance the nitrogen fixing capacity of the soil. So thereby it is increasing the soil fertility. So nostoc is the right answer. Cloning vector like PBR322, plasmid PBR322, antibiotic resistance genes, tetracycline and ampicillin resistance gene, these are very helpful. These are all selectable marker. Antibiotic resistance genes are the selectable markers. They helps in selection of recombinants or transformants. A student, while extracting DNA from Aspergillus fungus, Aspergillus is a fungus, he requires or she requires one enzyme to break the cell wall of the fungi, because the cell wall of the fungi is made up of a chemical component or polysaccharide called chitin or chitin. So to break chitin, we need an enzyme chitinase or chitinase enzyme. Identify the sequence which can be cut using EcoR1. EcoR1 is a restriction endonuclease enzyme. It is used to cut the DNA at a specific site. So the restriction site, the palindromic sequence of EcoR1 is GAATTC. It must be in 3' to 5' end, and oppositely we can find in 5' to 3' in opposite direction GAATTC. TTC. So this sequence we can find in option D. You can find it here. I'll show you. The option D contains the palindromic sequence for EcoR1 enzyme, that is GAATTC. So this is the correct option for this question. Which of the following amino acid is coded by single codon? The amino acid coded by single codon is tryptophan, because we know valine is coded by more than one codon, phenylalanine also coded by more than one codon, tyrosine also having more than one codon. Whereas these are all, if you find amino acid coded by more than one codon, that property is called as degeneracy. Whereas tryptophan can be coded by only one codon, UGG. So tryptophan is the right answer. That does not show degeneracy property of genetic code. In prokaryotes, the transcription of DNA is initiated at promoter region when sigma factor binds to enzyme RNA polymerase. When sigma factor binds to the enzyme RNA polymerase at initiator site, then transcription begins. According to Human Genome Project, the total number of genes in human genome is estimated 30,000. The number of genes on Y chromosome, as we know, Y chromosome has least number of genes, only 331 number of genes, whereas chromosome 1 has most of the genes, that is 2968. So answer for the question is 231, option C. It has least number of genes. In crime investigation, the investigating officer collects different biological samples from the crime spots for DNA fingerprinting analysis. Which of the following sample is not useful in the analysis? So for the analysis, skin, semen, hair follicles are very useful, whereas erythrocytes, RBC, erythrocyte, red blood cells are not useful because they does not contain nucleus, they does not contain DNA. A mature mRNA consists of 900 bases. Total 900 bases are there, 900 bases without any stop codon. There is no stop codons in that bases. Calculate the number of amino acid. We know 3 bases contains one genetic codon and each codon codes for one amino acid. If we have 900 bases, then we will get 300 codons. 300 codons. So the amino acid coded by this mRNA is 300 amino acids. So 300 codons codes for 300 amino acid because we are not finding in between any terminator codons. So answer is 300. Which one of the following ecosystem has highest annual net primary productivity? So answer is tropical rainforest, because tropical rainforest are less seasonal and relatively more constant, and they are predictable, promote niche specialization. That's why it leads to the greater biodiversity and annual net primary productivity also higher in tropical rainforest. So another question is very easy. Of the total incident solar radiation, the percentage of PAR, photosynthetically active radiation, captured by plants is only 2 to 10%. The historic convention related to conservation of biodiversity is known as Earth Summit. Earth Summit. It is done in Rio de Janeiro Earth Summit in 1992, and around 100 heads of the states has involved in this Earth Summit. In the next question, which one of the following human activities are contributed for the deforestation of northeastern sides of India? It is by jhumb cultivation. In jhumb cultivation, a part of the forest is totally utilized for the crop cultivation. That's why jhumb cultivation is one of the responsible for deforestation in northeastern side of India. In an area DDT has used extensively, the population of bird declined significantly. Where the area where DDT has extensively used, the population of birds has been declined because many of the egg laid by birds showed premature breaking of eggshell because of DDT. The brain capacity of Homo habilis, we know it is 650 to 800 cc. The bougainvillea and cucurbita, these two are the example for homologous organs. The axillary bud is modified into thorns and tendrils respectively. It is an example for divergent evolution because homologous organs responsible for divergent evolution. Identify the incorrect statement. The incorrect statement is obviously the correct statements are pneumonia is a bacterial disease, ringworm is a fungal disease, cancer is a non-infectious disease, whereas HIV is transmitted by mosquito bite is an incorrect statement. A person shows symptoms like sneezing, watery eyes, morning cases and difficulty in breathing, means allergy. In allergy, the antibody produced in the body is IgE. A man was suffering from mental illness like depression and insomnia. Identify the drug normally used. The normally drug used is LSD. Along with LSD, barbiturates, amphetamines, benzodiazepines also can be used to treat depression and insomnia. Plant like Marchantia funaria produce gametes by mitosis. Mitosis is a equational division. So if for the gamete production mitosis is used, then the definitely plant body is haploid. That's why to produce haploid gametes, mitosis is going to be done. So plant body is haploid in this case. Identify the asexual reproductive structure in this case. This is a yeast where M is identified as a bud, which is a asexual reproductive structure. In some plants, stigma and anthers are matured at different times. This is to increase cross-pollination and to decrease self-pollination. One type of method to increase cross-pollination, outbreeding devices. Nowadays, agricultural practice is expensive to the farmers as they need to purchase hybrid seeds every year. Which of the following strategy can be employed to overcome this problem? To overcome this problem, apomyxis, production of seed without fertilization, is a best solution for this case. The correct steps involved in artificial hybridization is emasculation, bagging, artificial pollination, and then rebagging. Which of the following protozoan parasite causes sleeping sickness? Sleeping sickness is caused by, as we know, trypanosoma, one of the protozoa which cause sleeping sickness. Which of the following phyla possess the body cavity as shown in the diagram? So this is the diagram. This is a diagram we can find, and this can be found in Ascalminthus. This type of we can find in Ascalminthus. In some animals like Ascalminthus, body cavity is not lined by mesoderm. As you can see here, body cavity is not lined by mesoderm. So between mesoderm is present between ectoderm and endoderm. Such body cavity is called as pseudocoelomates, and that can be found in Ascalminthus. Testa and tegmen of the seed coat. Testa and tegmen of the seed coats are the dried integuments. As we know, around the ovule there are layers called integuments. The outer layer is testa and inner layer is tegma. They are going to form seed coats after fertilization. The tree growing in temperature region shows clear demarcation between spring wood and autumn wood. This is because climatic conditions are uniform throughout the year. In this case, the climatic conditions are uniform throughout the year. In plants of temperate region, cambium is more active in spring and less active in autumn season. So in temperate region, climatic conditions are not uniform throughout the year. However, in trophic, climatic conditions are uniform throughout the year. That's why option A is the right answer. Identify M in this given diagram. As we know, M is a satellite. M is a satellite. Very easy question. Which of these is not an advantage of genetically modified crop? Not an advantage of genetically modified crop is increase post-harvesting losses. So as we know, genetically modified crops basically decrease the post-harvesting losses. Some multinational companies have exploited the traditional knowledge of indigenous people to produce commercial important bioproducts without any compensation, without any consent. That is called as biopiracy. Amphibians and reptiles, the body temperature changes corresponding to the external temperature because they are regulated. The organism which shows this kind of response are regulators. Assertion A, the monarch butterfly feeds. Yes, monarch butterfly feeds on poisonous weeds during its caterpillar stage. So this assertion is right. And reason, it helps butterfly to become distasteful to the predators. So monarch butterfly feeds on poisonous weeds during its caterpillar stage. During caterpillar stage, butterfly feeds on poisonous weeds. Because of that, it will become distasteful for its predators. So A is true and R is the correct explanation for this case. Then the nourishing cells in the seminiferous tubules are Sertoli cells. They nourishes the developing sperms in the seminiferous tubules. If the normal menstruating woman menses occurs in 5th April, what will be the expecting ovulation? So basically ovulation occurs at 13th to 14th day of menstruation cycle. If we add this to the 5th April, then around 18 April ovulation can happen. Identify the cells representing. So in this diagram, P is during spermatogenesis, P is primary spermatocyte, Q is a secondary spermatocyte, R is spermatids, and S is spermatozoa or sperms. The method of natural contraception which requires the correct knowledge of menstrual cycle is periodic abstinence. Requires correct knowledge of menstrual cycle. The childless couple visited ART, Assisted Reproductive Technology Center, to get assistance to have a child. On diagnosis, it was noticed that there was a low sperm count in the male partner. Which of the following strategy is used? If the sperm count is less, then artificial insemination can be done. The following diagram represents showing the stages of embryonic development. Identify the type of growth phase. M and N. We need to find out M and N. So here M is a geometric phase and N is a arithmetic phase. As you can see, M is a geometric phase M is a geometric phase and N is a arithmetic phase, because in the figure zygote undergo mitosis. In the initial stage M stage, every progeny remains the capacity to divide and forms progeny cell. Here no cells are undergoing differentiation. So here the division occurs in a 2n manner. Growth is unicellular and certain higher plants. The graph plotted here is exponentially growing, moving to the sigmoid. In stage N, not all progeny cells remains their capacity to divide. Then of course it will be a arithmetic progression. Indigestion of fat in humans may be indicating under secretion of saliva. Choose the correct statement from the following. Erythroblastosis fetalis may result when the fetus is Rh negative. No, fetus should be Rh positive here. Histamine, serotonin, heparin are secreted by basophils. Yes, during allergic reactions, these are produced by basophils. Atherosclerosis is often referred as angina pectoris. No. Persons with blood group AB can donate blood to the person of blood group A. No. So answer option B is right one. In blind spot of the human eye, both rods and cones are absent. A boy after attaining sexual maturity shows muscular growth of facial axillary hair, aggressive and low pitch of voice. This changes attributed by one of the sex hormone called testosterone. So next question, identify the enzyme. In this case, M enzyme which converts viral RNA into viral DNA. It is reverse transcriptase enzyme, reverse transcriptase. In animal breeding, maximum genetic variation can be achieved through interspecific hybridization. For example, mule. The oil content and quality of groundnut variety was improved by plant breeding technique that is called as biofortification, by increasing the quality, nutrient quality of the food, that is done by biofortification. Microbes like spirulina can be good alternative and to the conventional sources of protein, because microbes like spirulina can grow more in less time. They give more biomass in less time. Consider the following morphological, biochemical and physiological characteristics of plants. Choose the correct combination of statement which gives natural resistance to plants against pest. So against pest, which are all the characteristics? Supports presence of hairy leaves and presence of higher aspartic acid concentration. So this helps the plants to compact with the pest. Identify the odd one of the following disorder. So hemophilia is the odd one, because most common Mendelian disorders are hemophilia, cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, color blindness, phenylketonuria, thalassemia. It is important to mention that such Mendelian disorders may be dominant or recessive, but hemophilia is a sex-linked disorder. It is a sex-linked disorder, whereas the remaining three are not sex-linked. So hemophilia is the odd one out in that case. So among the following option, which is showing female heterogamety, this is homogamety, female homogamety, this is also female homogamety. Option C also female homogamety. Female heterogamety is shown by ZW type, that is for birds. In Morgan experiment with Drosophila, when yellow body white eye female was crossed with brown body red-eyed male and their F1 progeny were intercrossed, the percentage of recombinant F2 generation is only 1.3%. So among the following symbols used in human pedigree, identify the symbol that denotes consanguineous mating, means mating between relatives. It is option B. Which of the following nitrogen bases not found only in DNA? It is thymine, and in RNA it is uracil. So these are all the questions that are going to helpful for you to revise for the Karnataka CET Biology. Thank you, students. Students, in this video we are going to learn some of the most important diagram based MCQs for the coming NEET exam. So the figure given below is of tobacco mosaic virus. Identify the label A. So here label A is the genetic material of this virus and this is RNA. What is the function of the cell marked as A? So in this Nostock diagram, the cell labeled A helps to fix atmospheric nitrogen. Mark the correct answer with the relation of estivation in the diagram. So the correct answer is valvate, example calotropis. What is a common location of the type of epithelium that has been shown in the figure? And it is PCT, proximal convoluted tubules in the nephron. The experiment demonstrated in the figure was carried out by Priestley. Bell-jar experiment performed by Priestley. What is a function of structure labeled as A? It helps in absorption of fats. Which is the hormone synthesized by A part of pituitary? It is none of these. The given diagram represents an experiment used to demonstrate which of the following plant hormone. It is axin. What is the correct labeling for the diagram given? So the correct labeling is option C, that is notochord. What is the biomolecule demonstrated in this diagram? The biomolecule is nitrogen base. What is 1 denotes here? The 1 denotes here is ammonification. Which of the following is an example of hormone that has given mechanism of action? So it is estrogen. Organism given in the figure is an example of protozoa. Mark the correct option. Here the correct option is hypogynous flower, example mustard. Which one of the following is correct option? So the correct option is D, is telocentric. What does the T wave signifies in ECG? The T wave signifies repolarization of ventricles. What is a special property of the organism given in the figure? The special property is bioluminescence. The organism in the diagram belongs to which class of vertebrate? It is cyclostomata. Which of the following is correct labeling regarding the different region of root tip? The correct answer is root cap. What is the most common location of the type of epithelium in the figure? It is lining of intestine. Diagram is showing a neuromuscular junction at motor end plate, which is the neurotransmitter that transfers stimulus from neuron to muscle. It is acetylcholine. Mark the correct option in the given 1, 2 and 3 of Krebs cycle. The correct option is malic acid with 4 carbon atom. So second number is malic acid with 4 carbon atoms. Which of the following statement is correct? The correct statement is second represents facilitated diffusion. Among the three, the correct one is option D, that second one represents facilitated diffusion. During which phase does duplication of centriole occurs? The duplication of centriole occurs in S phase of cell cycle. What is the organism depicted in the diagram? This organism is laminaria. Correct example of type of placentation shown in the diagram is dianthus. Mark the correct option. So in the given figure, the correct option is blind spot. The third is blind spot. What does this diagram represent? This diagram represents hydroponic plant production. In case of competitive inhibition, how does the value of Km changes in order to attain initial Vmax by 2? It is increases. Mark the labeling. The correct labeling in the given figure is B, meristematic zone. Mark the incorrect statement regarding the muscle tissue shown in the diagram. The incorrect statement is they are non-striated, option C. Mark the correct option in the given three figures of the three cells. The correct option is all of these. A is in hypotonic solution, B occurs in hypertonic solution because protoplasm is going to shrink, and A is hypertonic solution, C is hypotonic solution, and B occurs in isotonic solution. Mark the correct labeling. In the given stomata diagram, the correct labeling is of chloroplast, that is the third labeling is chloroplast. Which is a correct option? In the given 4 diagrams of Marchantia, the correct option is given in figure C, that is with Anthridiophore, Gemma cups and rhizoids are the correct labelings. What is the type of epithelium shown in the diagram? The type of epithelium is squamous. Which organelle is unique to this cell? So this is animal cell, it is centriole. The diagram represents myosin monomer. Mark the correct statement. Here the correct statement is ATP binding site. The fourth labeling in the given figure is ATP binding site. Which of the following correctly labels in the cell responsible for the release of histamine? So the release of histamine is by mast cell, and here it is labeled as 2, option B. Scutellum is represented by, here scutellum is represented by fifth labeling, that is it is equivalent to cotyledon in monocot. The given diagram represents the absorptions of light by different pigment. Mark the correct statement. So the correct statement is labeling 1, that is chlorophyll. B. What is happening to diaphragm in the given figure? So in the given figure, diaphragm is undergoing contraction. What is the scientific name of the member of Plantae kingdom represent in the figure? It is equisitum. Which of the following is the correct label? In the given figure, the correct label is option C, second part, ulna. Which stage of M phase is represented in the figure? It is anaphase. Which of the 4 types of teeth shown in the diagram is monophyodont? It is option C. Fourth one is monophyodont. What is the site of action of ADH? The site of action of ADH is DCT, distal convoluted tubule. Which of the following bones does not exist in pair? It is occipital bone. Which is incorrect with respect to organelle shown in the figure? The incorrect is synthesis of ATP. It does not involve in synthesis of ATP. It is rough endoplasmic reticulum. The diagram represents sarcomere, functional unit of muscle. Which of the following is a correct option? The correct option is option C. First labeling is H zone. The given diagram represents, it is representing dicot leaf. In this diagram of ovary, mark the options which is correct label. It is option B, tertiary follicle. B is a tertiary follicle. What does the marked structure represent? The marked structure is A, that is conidia. The diagram shows the fruit flies used by Morgan for his experiment. Mark the correct statement. Correct statement is option C. Male and female are easily distinguishable. The diagram of a fertilized embryo sac. Mark the correct statement. The correct statement is E. It is representing degenerating antipodals. Mark the incorrect statement regarding this bioreactor diagram. It is option A. Diagram represent simple stirred tank bioreactor because it is a sparked tank bioreactor. If population density at a time t is n, that its density at a time t plus 1 represent by n is option D. Population density n is equal to n plus B plus I birth rate plus immigration minus D plus E, death rate plus immigration. Mark the incorrect marking. The incorrect marking here is D, that is charged plate. Which of the following structure guides the pollen tube into mature embryo sac? It is option 3, C, synergids, filiform apparatus. Mark the incorrect statement about the diagram. The incorrect statement is in sickle cell anemia, GAG of mRNA gets converted into GTG, option D. What does blue line represents? The blue line represents BOD, biochemical oxygen demand. The diagram represents a population growth curve. Mark the correct option. The correct option is 4, K is carrying capacity. The diagram, the relative contribution of various gases to the global warming. Mark the correct composition of the gases. The correct composition of the gas is option D, N2O, 6%. What is the incorrect about B? In the figure of anther, the labeling B incorrect is while developing, none of this. An exception to the above diagram, above central dogma is, exception is, it is not for retrovirus. The diagram represents Bougainvillea and Cucurbita, both are homologous organs, homologous evolution. The pedigree chart, the given pedigree chart represents autosomal recessive. Which layer serves the function of providing nutrition to the developing pollen? It is tapetum, option 3, labeled E. Mark the incorrect statement related to PBR 322. It is option 3, C represents ROP. Which muscle marked by C? It is pectoralis muscle. Pectoralis major. The diagram represents a nucleosome. Mark the correct labeling. The correct labeling is labeling A, H1 histone. Mark the correct answer about this population interaction. The correct one is C, that is predation. What is the location of marula in the diagram? In the given diagram, label diagram, the marula represents figure labeling E, that is option B. This diagram represents about gemule. Mark the correct statement. Here, the correct statement is option C, male are homogametic in birds. Mark the correct labeling. In this diagram of seminiferous tubule, the correct labeling is option 3, F is spermatogonium. What is the vector for the disease shown in the figure? It is Culex. The diagram represents biome distribution according to temperature and precipitation. Mark the correct option. The correct option is 2. B is temperate forest. Which of the following were the gases involved in this experiment? So all the gases were involved in Stanley Miller experiment. Mark the correct option related to this phosphorus cycle. The correct option is D, is weathering. Which hormone represented by A? A is option 3, estrogen. Hello students, in this video we are going to discuss Karnataka CET model question paper. It consists of 60 question answers from 1st PUC, 11th and 2nd PUC, 12th CBSE Biology. It is going to be very helpful for the coming NEET exam also. Let us discuss the 60 question answers of this model question paper for the coming CET exam as well as for the NEET exam. So here is the first question, and this question is from the chapter Human Health and Disease. So antidote against snake bite is an example for passive immunity. As well, second question also from the Human Health and Disease. Certain tumors are called malignant tumor. because they have a capacity of doing metastasis. Metastasis means spreading to the other tissues, surrounding tissues. They invade and damage the surrounding tissues also. The transport of which neurotransmitter interferes? Cocaine. This also from Human Health and Disease chapter. Cocaine is one narcotic drug. It is going to stop the transport of neurotransmitter, and the neurotransmitter is dopamine. Then the fourth question also from the chapter Human Health and Disease. So Plasmodium. Plasmodium is the protozoa which cause malaria, and in the life cycle of Plasmodium, fertilization usually takes place in the stomach of the mosquito. Next question is, which of the following tissue cannot be used as explant in tissue culture? Explant is a part of the plant, which is used in tissue culture, which is used in micropropagation. So explant can be taken from collenchyma, meristem and parenchyma, but it cannot be taken from sclerenchyma because sclerenchyma is a dead tissue. Next question, in the hybridization between naturally incompatible plants like potato and tomato. Potato and tomato, when it undergo hybridization, it is going to undergo somatic hybridization, because the protoplasm of potato and tomato, when fused by using polyethylene glycol, it produced a hybrid plant called tomato. That is by somatic hybridization. In the next question, you can find that a chili plant was severely infected by chili mosaic virus. Identify the technique that helps to raise virus-free plant. If you want virus-free plant from this infected chili plant, then you need to take the tissues from meristematic region. Meristematic tissues are present at the tip of the root and shoot. So by doing meristematic culture, one of the tissue culture, you can able to get virus-free plant from this chili plant. Next question is from microbes in human welfare. In sewage treatment, secondary treatment is considered highly significant because it reduces biochemical oxygen demand of sewage. Then next question, ruminant animal can digest cellulose. Cellulose present in the grass, whereas human beings unable to digest cellulose. Human beings unable to digest cellulose because in human gut we cannot find methanobacterium or methanogen bacteria. Methanogen bacteria present in the ruminant animal that can helps in digesting cellulose and producing methane gas, which is used as biogas. In the next question, we can find that biotechnology question. From the given combination of steps, usually PCR, polymerase chain reaction, has 3 steps: denaturation, annealing and extension. And among the 3 steps, the enzyme dependent step is extension, where there is a use of DNA polymerase enzyme, and this enzyme is thermostable and it is extracted from thermostable bacteria called Thermus aquaticus. Biolistic is the method of gene transfer and it is done in plant cell. It is also called as gene gun method. Next question is regarding electrophoresis. You can find here electrophoresis representation, and we need to identify M and N. As you can find M near the wells. So these are the DNA bands which are larger and cannot be able to migrate faster, and N you can find the smaller DNA bands. As they are smaller, they can able to migrate faster towards anode. Next, RNA interference. RNA interference or mRNA silencing. The double-stranded RNA molecule prevents the translation of mRNA in the nematode. mRNA of the nematode is do not undergo translation with the help of this RNA interference. Next, nowadays the early diagnosis of bacterial or viral infection in human possible because of one of the diagnostic technique called PCR. In the next question, we can find that which of the following feature of the plant is not helpful in adapted to desert life. So in the not helpful in adapting to desert life is absence of trichome on leaf surface, whereas thick cuticle, spines, sunken stomata, they all are the adaptations in xeric plants, whereas this is not adaptation. In the following equation of Wall-Hartz-Pearl's logistic growth, R, small r denotes intrinsic rate of natural increase. So you can find one pyramid shape. This pyramid shape reflects the growth status of the population. Identify the type of age pyramid represented below for the human population. As you can see this, it is a declining. So here all the 3 graphs are there. You can find here expanding, stable, decline, all the 3 of pre-reproductive, reproductive and post-reproductive population. This is going to be very helpful. Any one graph they are going to ask in the exam. Next, in the following food chain, here M is missing. The M is after insect, then the M will be frog. Easily you can identify. Next question, the organism which invade bare area to initiate ecological succession, that organism is called as pioneer species, as it is going to invade in the bare area. Which one of the following is not included under in situ conservation? In situ conservation means conserving the endangered species in their own habitat. So not included is botanical gardens. Remaining biosphere reserve, national park and sanctuaries are the in situ conservation example. Next question is, which one of the following is a wrong statement? You can find here ozone in the upper part of the atmosphere is harmful to the animals. No, ozone in the upper part of the atmosphere protects from UV rays. So that is a wrong statement. In the next question, according to Supreme Court of India ruling with respect to Bharat Stage 6 norm, from which date these are supposed to be implemented in country? It is Bharat Stage 6 has been implemented in 1st April 2020. So here, so in the next question we can find match the following classes of fungi. Fungi with example already I have matched here. Phycomycetes example albugo, ascomycetes penicillium, basidomycetes puccinia, deuteromycetes alternaria. Already I have matched and given in the question. In the next question, observe the following simplified scheme and choose the correct option that matches the letter given in the boxes. So vertebrates divided into the fishes that lacks jaw and the fishes that has a jaw. Again the fishes having jaws again divided into the fishes having fins and the fishes having limbs. So the fishes lacks the jaw is agnatha, the fishes having jaws gnathostomata, and in the gnathostomata the fishes having fins are pisces, and the one which is having limbs they are developed as tetrapods. Next, identify the floral unit I in this given representation of inflorescence flower diagram. The I in the floral diagram represent perianth, and you must remember that perianth consists of both corolla and calyx. Perianth refers to the condition when there is no distinguish between sepals and petals. In the next question, you can find a student observe grass and hibiscus plant in the garden during noon. To his surprise, only the leaves of the grass were found to be rolled inwards. The reason is due to the presence of bulliform cells in the grass leaf. Grass is a monocot. You can find bulliform cells. In the below diagram, identify the part which connects the peripheral microtubules to the central sheet, and they are the radial spokes that connects to the central sheet. The radial spoke is the right answer. The element whose percentage weight highest in both earth crust as well as human body is oxygen. Identify the event in the meiosis mediated by the enzyme recombinase. Recombinase enzyme take part in crossing over. The deficiency of which of these elements interrupt the photolysis of water? Photolysis of water is one of the important steps during photosynthesis. The deficiency of manganese and chlorine definitely interrupts the photolysis of water during photosynthesis. In C4 plants, C3 cycle takes place in bundle sheath cells. Very important, you need to remember. And during citric acid cycle, Krebs cycle, various organic acids undergo decarboxylation. Which of the following organic acids of the above cycle, citric acid cycle, 4 carbon is succinic acid, 5 carbon alpha ketogluteric acid, and 6 carbon is citric acid. So option C is the right answer for this question. Consider the following statement regarding photosynthesis and respiration in plants and select the correct option. So here rubisco has high affinity to oxygen in low carbon dioxide concentration is the right statement. This is a wrong statement. The Kelvin pathway occurs in chloroplast of the bundle sheath cells in C4 plants. This is the right one. Then the yeast poison themselves when the concentration of alcohol reaches 7%. This is a wrong statement. Oxygen is a final hydrogen acceptor during aerobic respiration. This is also wrong statement. So this option A is the right answer for this question. This is related to aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Now here we need to match the digestive gland with their enzymes. I have already matched this. Pancreas secretes trypsin, gastric gland in the stomach secretes pepsin, both helps in protein digestion. Small intestine secretes enterokinase, salivary gland secretes salivary amylase or ptyalin. And another question also matching relation, match the leukocytes in column 1 with their percentage in the human body. I have already matched neutrophil 60 to 65, lymphocytes 20 to 25, monocytes 6 to 8%, basophils 0.5 to 1, and eosinophils 2 to 3%. Let us move to the next question. Which part of the human brain corpus quadrigemina is located. Corpora quadrigemina is located in the midbrain. A girl after attaining sexual maturity shows development of growing ovarian follicles, development of mammary gland, and high pitch of voice. This is because of the secretion of female sex hormone estrogen. In apple, the chromosome number is 17. What is the chromosome number in its primary endosperm nucleus? So we should know that primary endosperm nucleus is triploid. Thus the number of chromosome in the gametes is 17. Gametes are haploid and pen is triploid. So if you multiply 3 17s, you will get 51. So 51 is the right answer for this question. During the excavation of soil, pollen fossils were retrieved from the deepest layer of the soil. This pollen grain remains as a fossil because of the presence of sporopollenin that is present in exine. Identify the mismatch one. The mismatch one, primary endosperm nucleus is triploid, antipodals are haploid, zygote is diploid, whereas synergids are diploid. No, synergids are haploid. So that is the mismatch one. Identify the correct order of the event in pollen pistil interaction from the option given below. So in pollen pistil interaction, first will be deposition of the pollen grains on the stigma. Next will be development of pollen tube. Next, the entry of pollen tube into the ovule, then entry of pollen tube into the embryo sac, then finally the release of male gamete into the embryo sac for the double fertilization. So next question is matching column 1 with organogenesis and of the fetus and with column 2. In the first month there is a development of heart, second month limbs and digits, fifth month hairs on the head, 6th month separation of the eyelids. It is already matched one. When the fallopian tube blocked at the ampullary region, the ovum fails to move to the infundibulum to isthmus. Next, identify the cells representing as P, Q, R and S in the schematic representation of oogenesis given below. Choose the correct option. So here P is oogonia, Q is primary oocyte, R is a secondary oocyte and S is a ovum. In the next question, which of the following contraceptive could be effective in avoiding pregnancy if used within 72 hours of intercourse, unprotected intercourse? So definitely the combination of two hormones, progesterone and estrogen combination pill has to be taken. Choose the correct statement regarding gift gamete intrafallopian transfer. So during gamete intrafallopian transfer, ova collected from the female donor are transported to the fallopian tube to facilitate zygote formation in the recipient. Which of the following characters was not studied by Mendel in the pea plant experiment? That is leaf shape, whereas stem height, pod shape, seed shape has been studied, whereas leaf shape has not been studied. In the organism, mutation. Students, in the next question, in the organism, mutation is a single gene exhibit multiple phenotypic expression. Single gene exhibit multiple phenotypic expression. Identify the underlying genetic mechanism. The genetic mechanism is pleiotropy. Next question, in the next question, a pure breeding pea plant with yellow seed was crossed with pea plant having wrinkled seed. It's a dihybrid cross. On selfing of F1 hybrid of his cross, 64 progenies were obtained in the F2 generation. Find out the F2 progenies with non-parental characters. So in dihybrid cross, you know, the phenotypic ratio is 9:1, where 9 and 1 are having parental character, 3 and 3 having non-parental characters. So if you divide that 6 with 16 into 64, you will get 24. So 24 offsprings will be having non-parental character. In the next question, a man with blood group A marries woman having blood group B. So man with blood group A when marries with woman with blood group B, the possible blood group of the progenies will be all the four: A, B, AB and O. The length of the DNA helix in a typical nucleosome is 200 base pairs. It's an easy question. Which of the following type of RNA carries amino acid towards ribosome during translation? Translation is a process of protein synthesis. So amino acids are carried by transfer RNA. In eukaryotes, the entire base sequence of gene does not appear in mature mRNA because of introns are removed during processing. During splicing, introns non-coding sequences has been removed. Suppose the DNA sample collected for DNA fingerprinting analysis are less than required quantity. Which of the following technique helpful to make samples deficient for the above? So if the DNA samples are less, you can make a photocopy of those DNA samples by amplification of DNA, that is PCR technique. When E. coli bacteria are cultured in the medium where lactose is absent, the I gene of lapoperon continues to produce repressor mRNA because it's a constitutive gene. I is a constitutive gene. For a given sequence of DNA, this is a given sequence of DNA, one of the strand has been given. Identify the complementary sequence of the base in its mRNA. In mRNA, you know it very well that in place of thymine, uracil must be present. So, complementary of adenine is thymine, but thymine won't present in RNA. In place of thymine, uracil will be present. So, accordingly, option B is the right answer. Which of the following was the biggest land dinosaur? The biggest land dinosaur is Tyrannosaurus rex. The last question you can find, in a population of plants, some were extremely tall and some were extremely dwarf. No plant of the population shows intermediate height. The type of operation of natural selection in the above is disruptive. So these are the 60 questions of the coming Karnataka CET exam. I hope this is going to be very helpful for you. Thank you, students. Hello students, for the coming CET exam as well as for the NEET exam, here is one model question paper for Karnataka CET particularly, and these question answers definitely will help for the coming NEET exam also. So this model paper includes 60 questions from first PUC as well as from second PUC. I hope this is going to be very helpful for you. First question is, how many microsporangia are located at the corners of typical bilobed anther of angiosperm? We know in angiosperm the anther is bilobed. When you take the transverse section of this bilobed anther, you can find this structure where at each corner you can find one microsporangia. So total in one typical bilobed anther there are total 5 microsporangias will be present. Second question, bryophytes and pteridophytes. In bryophytes and pteridophytes, the number of male gametes are produced in several thousand times the number of female gametes produced. Compared to female gamete, the number of male gametes produced will be several times more in bryophytes and pteridophytes. So this is assertion. This assertion is right because the reason is large number of male gametes fail to reach female gamete during transport. During pollination, large number of male gametes are going to fail. That's why reason as well as assertion both are correct in this case. Next question, you can find the diagram of maize seed where label A is coleoptile, B is scutellum, C is pericarp and D is coleorhiza. Option A is the right answer. Now, there is one statement question. Statement 1, innermost layer of microsporangia is tapetum. Yes, of course. And statement 2, the cells of the tapetum nourishes the developing pollen grains. Both the statements are correct in this case. Next question, identify the correct statement. Let us see the first statement. Only one microspore present towards the chalaza and remains functional. Yes, of course. Only one functional megaspore is going to develop into embryo sac. That is called as monosporic development. So first statement itself is the correct statement. In the next question, you can find 4 water plants, aquatic plants, Vallisneria, Hydrilla, water hyacinth and Zoostera. Among the 4, Vallisneria, Hydrilla and Zoostera are pollinated by water, whereas water hyacinth is not pollinated by water. In the next question, which cell of the female gametophyte is involved in the formation of primary endosperm nucleus spin after fertilization? So it is definitely central cell having 2 haploid nucleus. It is undergoing fertilization with one of the male gamete to produce triploid primary endosperm nucleus. Next question, in the given diagram, there is a diagram of sperm. In the given diagram, part A is help in penetrating the sperm into the ovule. Label B, it includes mitochondria that provides energy for the movement of sperm. And C, it is a tail, helps in the movement of the sperm during fertilization. In the next question, select the correct pathway of flow of milk during breastfeeding. So it is from mammary tubule to mammary duct, then to mammary ampulla, then to lactiferous duct, then finally to the alveoli. Under influence of oxytocin is released at the end of pregnancy. Which layer of uterus exhibits strong contraction? The strong contraction is exhibited by the middle layer of uterus, that is myometrium. Select the incorrect statement regarding contraceptive. First statement, they are regular requirement for the maintenance of reproductive health. It is a correct statement. Option B, they have a significant role in checking uncontrolled growth of population. This is also right statement. Third statement, they are practiced against natural reproductive event like conception or pregnancy. They won't practice against it. So this is the incorrect statement for this question. Another question from reproductive health. The method of directly injecting the sperm into the ovum is intracytoplasmic sperm injection. In the next question, aneuploidy is the loss or gain of chromosome. Monoploidy is a single set of chromosome. Polyploidy is increase in the number of whole set of chromosome. Diploidy is two set of chromosome. So option C is right for this question. Another match the following type of question. Griffith done transforming principle experiment. Jacob and Monod done lac operon concept. Michelson and Stahl DNA replication semi-conservative that they have proved by experiment. Hershey and Chase proved that DNA is a genetic material. So option C is the right question for this right answer for this question. In the next question, in which region of tRNA is a transfer RNA having clever leaf-like model. In which region of tRNA molecule amino acid is binded? The amino acid binding site is at the 3' end of the tRNA. E. coli bacteria labeled with N15 allowed to grow in N14 media. The two strands of the DNA molecule in the first generation. In the first generation, we can get hybrid. So there will be a difference in the density, but do not resembles with their parent DNA. You will get the hybrid of both. One strand with the N15, another strand with N14. You will get the hybrid one. Experiment involving radioactive thymidine to detect the distribution of newly synthesized DNA in the chromosome was performed in the plant Vicia faba is a plant name. The sequence of nucleotide in the template DNA is a sequence of nucleotides here. The sequence in corresponding region of mRNA. So, among DNA and RNA, if uracil is present in RNA. So, if in the DNA you can find adenine, in the complementary strand, thymine should be present. As the thymine is not present in RNA, in place of thymine, uracil will be present. So, accordingly, option B is the right answer for this nucleotide sequence in mRNA. Pneumonia is one disease caused by Streptococcus pneumoniae, and the development of thick immune response in a person infected with the deadly microbes by administering preformed antibodies is the passive immunization. Example, snake bite. During snake bite, antivenom is given. That is example for passive immunity. Which is the most feared property of malignant tumor? That is metastasis. It will invade, it will spread to the surrounding tissue also. Identify the technique useful in detecting cancer in internal organ. In internal organs, cancer can be detected by computed tomography, that is CT scan. Which among the following plant is a source of drug which is native to America? That is Erythroxylum coca. Cocaine can be extracted. The technology of biogas production was developed in India due to the effort of Khadi Village Industry Commission as well as Indian Agriculture Research Institute, both A and B. Which among the following product of microbe is not obtained from fungi? That is Swiss cheese. It is produced by Propionibacterium shermani, bacteria. Another match the following type of question. Cyclosporine A. Cyclosporine A is an immunosuppressive agent. Streptokinase is a blood cholesterol lowering agent. Statin is a clot buster, and penicillin is an antibiotic. So option B is the right answer for this question. The tag polymerase enzyme, the tag polymerase that finds its application in PCR is obtained from Thermus aquaticus. Thermus aquaticus is one thermostable bacteria from which thermostable DNA polymerase can be extracted, that is used in extension step of PCR. ROP gene, which codes for the protein involved in the replication of plasmid PBR322 in E. coli, located at the restriction site HIND3. In HIND3, ROP gene can be produced. Rapid antigen test and RT-PCR are the two diagnostic tests for COVID-19 virus. PCR, a molecular diagnostic tool, stands for polymerase chain reaction. Which of the following diagnostic tools allows the detection of very low concentration of bacteria or virus? Is PCR only. Very low concentration of bacteria and virus also can be detected. Silencing of gene could be achieved through short interfering RNA and antisense RNA, both A and B. Alpha-1 antitrypsin is an enzyme. It is one enzyme. Identify the correct statement from the following. The correct statement is only 3. The life cycle of endoparasite is more complex due to their extreme speciation, whereas the remaining 3 are the incorrect statement. Let us go to the next question. Matching column A with column 2. Calotropis is a cardioglycoside. Piaster is distasteful. Monarch butterfly is distasteful, whereas Calotropis is a invertebrate. Piaster is an invertebrate. And frog is a cryptically colored. It undergo camouflage. So option B is right answer for this question. Small mammals. Next question. Small mammals and birds are rarely found in polar region because they have larger surface area relative to their volume. Identify the correct statement. crucilation acid metabolism plant close their stomata during daytime. That is the incorrect statement. They close in the night time. So that is the incorrect statement. Next question, epigynous flower. Epigynous flower is one in which ovary is inferior and the other floral parts are superior. In the following type of cell junction, is not found in animal tissue. In animal tissue, loose junction is not found. So this is the right answer for this question. A bacterial flagellum is composed of filament, hook and basal body. Another match the following type of question. Trypsin is work as an enzyme. Then GLUT4 is enables the glucose to transport into the cell. Collagen is an intercellular ground substance, and antibody fights against infectious agent. So option D is the right answer for this question. The correct sequence for the correct sequence of prophase is prophase 1 in meiosis is first synapsis, then crossing over, then chiasmata, and then terminalization. In the next question, in the standard ECG, one of the following function of its component is not correctly matched. So among PQRS, P is the contraction of only left atria is a wrong statement because it is involving the contraction of both the atrias, both the lower chambers. Another match the following type of question is there. Catecholamine is a stress hormone. MSH is responsible for pigmentation. Then thymosin is responsible for immune response. Melatonin is responsible for diurnal rhythm. So option A is the right answer for this question. In the genotype of husband and wife, husband is AB blood group and wife is A blood group, whereas it is heterozygous in condition. Among the blood type of their children, how many different types of genotypes? 4 different types of genotypes you can get, and 3 phenotypes. 3 types of blood group they can get, A, B and AB. A, B as well as AB. So 3 types of phenotypes they can get with 4 types of genotype. What is the possible blood group of children whose parents are heterozygous A and B? Heterozygous A and B in the sense they will get heterozygous AB in the sense they will get AB only, A, B and AB only. Oh no, they will get all the 4 types of blood groups here. Another match the following type of question is there here. Autosomal trisomy is Down syndrome. Allosomal trisomy is Klinefelter syndrome. Allosomal monosomy is Turner syndrome. Cystic fibrosis is one Mendelian disorder. Which among the following characters selected by Mendel in pea plant as a recessive character, that is white flower is a recessive character. Population size keeps changing depending on the different factors. So like food availability, predation, pressure, adverse weather. So all the above are responsible for population size. So option D is the right answer. Identify the correct statement among the 4 options. Among the 4 statements, identify the incorrect statement. Incorrect statement, let us see one by one. Speciation is generally a function of time. It is a correct statement. Tropical environment is less seasonal. It is also right correct statement. Solar energy contributes high productivity. This is also correct statement. Temperate region have maintained relatively undisturbed for millions years. This is the wrong statement. So only last option is incorrect. So the correct equation depending on species area relationship is log S is equal to log C plus Z into log A. Another question. Narrowly utilitarian argument receiving benefits like food, medicine, industrial product. Broadly utilitarian, conserving biodiversity for major ecosystem service. Ethical argument, every species has an intrinsic value or for our moral duty. So option C is the right answer for this question. Identify the correct statement about excitoconservation. Cryopreservation of gametes is the correct statement. Plant tissue culture method is also correct one. Seed bank is also correct one. And in vitro fertilization also the correct one for excitoconservation. The concept of contagium vivum fluidum for virus is given by M.W. Bijnik. Identify the odd one. Among the 4 fungi, odd one is Ustilago. The plant body having holdfast, stipe and fond is Laminaria. Identify the next question. Identify the correct statement regarding the class Aves. 4 limbs are modified into wings. That is the right one. Heart is completely 4-chamber. Wrong statement. They are homotherms. This is the right statement. They are oviparous and development is direct. So correct statement are only 1 and here answer is all the yes children, sorry. So all the statements are correct. 4 limbs are modified into wings. They are 4-chambered. They are homotherms and they are oviparous. All the 4 statements are correct for this question. The enzyme that is not found in C3 plant. In C3 plant, ATP synthesis, ATP. One second. Sorry students. The enzyme not found in C3 plant, ATP synthesis is present, Rubisco also present, NADP reductase also present, whereas PEP carboxylase is not present in C3 plant because it is present in C4 plants. Match the following type of question. Mitochondrial matrix, you can find electron transport chain, cytoplasm, glycolysis pathway, F0 and F1 you can find in ATP synthesis, inner mitochondrial membrane, sorry children, let us match correctly. Mitochondrial matrix, you can find Krebs cycle, cytoplasm, glycolysis, F0, F1, ATP synthesis, inner mitochondrial membrane, electron transport chain. So option A is right answer for this question. Identify the incorrect statement. Incorrect statement we need to find out. Kinetin is derivative of adenine, which is a pyrimidine. So this is an incorrect statement because adenine is purine. The technique of decapitation is widely used in tea plantation. Right statement. Ethylene is a gaseous plant hormone. Correct statement. Use of GA3 hastened the malting process in the brewing industry. This is also correct statement. ABA, abscisic acid, is a growth promoter. So this is incorrect statement. So option D, 195 are the incorrect statement in this case. Calculate the cardiac output of an individual having 70 heartbeats per minute with a stroke value 55 ml. That will be 3850 ml. So these are the 60 questions. I hope it is going to be helpful for you children. Thank you. Hello dear students. One more model question paper of NEET Biology we are going to discuss in today's class. Let us start with the first question. Pairing of homologous chromosomes occur in which stage of cell division? In which stage of cell division pairing of homologous chromosome occurs? Children, guess the answer. The answer is zygote. Whereas in leptotin there is a condensation of chromosome, and in packaging there is a crossing over of homologous chromosome, and in diplotin there is a separation of homologous chromosome. Let us go to the next question. Choose the correct option with respect to location of root hairs. With location of root hair, among the following 4 options, the best option, the correct option is zone of maturation. In the zone of maturation, we can find root hairs. Heterostyly. Heterostyly means position of anther and stigma at different places. Is an outbreeding device adopted by some plants, and it is a type of one morphological method to prevent self-pollination. It is a method to prevent self-pollination. Let us move to the next question. Which of the following statement is true for one turn of Krebs cycle or one turn of citric acid cycle? The true statement is in citric acid cycle, in Krebs cycle, there is one molecule of FADH2 is synthesized. Whereas in case of NAD, 3 NAD plus are reduced. They reduced to NADH2. So among the option, first option is right for the one cycle of Krebs cycle. DNA dependent DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase is very important enzyme involved in DNA replication, and this DNA polymerase enzyme catalyze the polymerization only in 5' to 3' direction. Option 1 is the right answer. Let us go to the next question. Match the following. 107th question. We need to match the following. Mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is the symbiotic association of fungi and roots of higher plants. Eagle and rat is example for predation. Penicillium and bacteria is an example for amensalism. Then lice on human is an example of parasitism. So this is the correct option. Let us move to the next question. Select the correct statement. We need to find out the correct statement. Uracil is present in RNA in place of guanine. No, in place of thymine. In place of thymine, uracil is present. So this is the wrong statement. The backbone of DNA. In the backbone of DNA, nitrogen bases project outside. No, they project inside. DNA is always coiled in a left-handed helix. It is wrong. DNA is always coiled in right-handed helix. 2 chains of DNA have anti-parallel polarity. This is right. One in 5' to 3', another in 3' to 5'. Read the following statement. Statement 1. A system of classification is based on evolutionary relationship among various organisms was proposed by Linnaeus. So this statement is wrong because evolutionary relationship has been given by Engler and Prantl, not by Linnaeus. So option 1 is wrong. Eudorina always shows anisogamy because in Eudornia, which is an algae, we can find 2 different types of gametes. That is right. Laminarin is a chief storage food in 505Ca brown algae. This is also right statement. Haplontic life cycle is prevalent in mosses. No children, in mosses we can find haplodiplontic cycle. So we need to find out the correct statement here. Correct statements are B and C. 2 statements are right here. Let us move to the next question. Choose the correctly matched pair. We need to find out the correctly matched pair. Let us go one by one. Photorespiration is a wasteful process as it utilizes ATP and NADPH2. Children, useful process never utilize, wasteful process never utilize ATP. So this is a wrong statement. But in photorespiration, there will be a number of carbon atoms will be reduces. Then let us go to the next one. Rubin and Kamen proves oxygen liberated during photosynthesis comes from carbon dioxide. So oxygen is liberated due to the photolysis of water. This is also wrong statement. Then tadpole-like structure is chlorophyll. Chlorophyll has a tadpole-like structure. This is the right one. And Kranz anatomy you can find in C4 plants, not in potato. See, so option 3 is right answer for this question. Let us move to the next question. When the centromere is present very close to one end of the chromosome, when the centromere is present very close to one of the chromosome, then the chromosome is referred to be acrocentric. The transfer section of plant part shows the following features. The transfer section of plant part shows the following features. That is, it has a central pith, conjoint open vascular bundle, medullary ray present in between vascular bundle, hypodermis is colon chematis. We need to find out these characteristics is belongs to monocot stem, dicot stem or monocot root. So here these characteristics we can find in a dicot stem. So dicot stem is the right answer. Let us move to the next question. The function of NAD+, the function of NAD+ is what? It is going to act as an electron carrier. It is going to act as an electron carrier. Move to the next question. Valine is coded by more than one codon, hence the code is degenerate. If the amino acid are coded by more than one codon, that shows the property of degeneracy. Let us move to the next question. The main source of biofertilizers are bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria. Let us move to the next question. Choose the correct order of various stages in hydrarch succession. Hydrarch succession in water, we can find that it starts with phytoplankton, submerged plant, then submerged free floating plant, then reed swamp, marsh meadow, shrubs and then forests. So option 2 is the right answer for this question. Let us move to the next question. Z type of sex determination we can find in birds. Let us move to the next question. Match the following. Rough endoplasmic reticulum helps in protein synthesis. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in lipid synthesis. Golgi complex helps in glycosylation. And centriole responsible for spindle formation. So option 2 is the right answer for this question. Let us move to the next question. Mortality refers to death rate. Let us go to the next question. The layer of an anther which is not protective in function is tapetum, because tapetum provide nourishment. It is not involving in protection. Let us move to the next question. The future not related to heartwood. Is what? In 121 question, it is condensation of water and mineral, whereas lignified cell wall, hard and durable, resistance to insect, they are all the features of heartwood. Move to the next question. Select the mismatched pair with respect to the classes of Pteridophyta. So among them, Coelotum belongs to class Coelopsida. Selaginella children, it belongs to Lycopsida. So this is the mismatched one, and remaining 3 are the right one. The phytohormone which was first isolated in human urine, first plant hormone isolated was axin. Then on earth, which of the following region have greatest biodiversity? You can find in tropical Amazon rainforest. We can find. Let us move to the next question, children. 125th question. Which of the following statements are correct with about prions? We know prions are the infectious protein. Prions cause mad cow disease in cattle. Of course, right. Then prions are smaller than viruses. Of course, right. Then prions are made up of RNA only. It is wrong one, because prions are made up of protein only. And prion causes Jacob disease in humans. That is also right one. So A, B, D options statements are correct. So option 2 is the right answer for this question. Let us move to the next question. Which of the following is a filamentous algae? It is very easy. Ulothrix is a filamentous algae. Next question also very easy. In dicot leaf, guard cells are of kidney shape. Very easy questions. Let us move to the next question. Acetic acid is commonly obtained by Acetobacter aceti. In DNA fingerprinting, differences in some sequence region in DNA sequence are identified using a specific type of probes, which are called as VNTR, variable number tandem repeat. 130th question. In most ecosystem, the pyramid of number, energy and biomass are upright, except in pyramid of, yes children, pyramid of biomass in C. In C, biomass pyramid is not upright. Let us move to the next question. Which of the following statement is correct for cork cambium? About cork cambium, we need to find out the correct statement. So the correct statement for cork cambium is, it is also called as phellogen. It is also called as phellogen, and it is also called extrastellar cambium. Whereas the remaining two options are wrong if you see the characteristics of cork cambium carefully in the textbook. Let us move to the next question. In the S phase of interface, A and B are duplicated. So A and B are what, children? Guess. So A is DNA in the nucleus and B is centriole in the cytoplasm. Let us move to the next question. 133rd question. In Antirrhenium, a red flower was crossed with white flower, and in F1 generation, pink flowers were obtained. When pink flower was selfed, the F2 generation showed red, white, and pink flower. Choose a correct statement. So it is incomplete dominance, and incomplete dominance, what we can find, the phenotypic ratio and genotypic ratio both is 1:2:1 is the right answer. Let us move to the next question, children. Read the following statement and choose the suitable option for A and B accordingly. What is that? Let us see. A and B were not included in 5 kingdom classification. A and B not included in 5 kingdom classification of R.H. Whittaker. Then it says B are both living and non-living. B are both living and non-living. Both living and non-living what? Viruses. And along with viruses, lichens are not included. A are the indicators of pollution. So lichens are the indicators of pollution. A shows mutualistic relationship with algae and fungi. So these are the two characteristics of lichens, and B is a characteristics of virus. So answer for this question is virus and lichens. A are virus and B are lichens. Let us move to the next question. Which of the following is incorrect for mycoplasma? So incorrect for mycoplasma is first statement itself. Cell wall is composed of peptidoglycan, because in mycoplasma cell wall is absent. It is not present. Let us move to the next question. In the contrasting character present in pair used in taxonomic aid is refers to. Yes, children, it is refers to what? It is refers to couplets. It refers to couplets. Let us move to the next question. 137th question. So Hatch-Slack pathway is also called as C4 pathway. Ribulose bisphosphate used in Kelvin cycle. Then cyclic photophosphorylation is in photosystem 1. Then 138 question. Female gametophyte of angiosperm has 3 antipodal cells at the chalazal end. It is the right one for this question. 139th question. Which one of the following statement is correct for plant pollinated by water? So let us find out the correct statement. First option, most of the flowering plants shows pollinated by water. No, very few will pollinated by water. All aquatic plants used water for pollination. These also wrong. Water pollinated flowers are colorful and produce nectar. No, they cannot produce colorful, and they are not producing nectar. The pollen grains of water pollinated plants are protected by mucilaginous covering. This is right one. So option 4 is right one. Let us move to the next question. The World Summit on Sustainable Development held in 2002 at Johannesburg, South Africa, aimed at, the main aim of this meeting is significantly reducing the current rate of biodiversity loss at global, regional and local level. Let us match the following. Statement 1, list 1 with list 2. List 1 with list 2 we are going to match in 141 question. Let us match, children. Histone are produced during S phase because they are the protein. Then longest phase of cell cycle is interphase. Longest stage of meiosis 1 is prophase 1, and terminalization of chiasmata is diakinesis. So statement 2 is right one for this question. Let us move to the next question. 142 question. In a cross between colorblind female and normal male, what is the percentage of progeny will colorblindness female? As colorblind is a sex-linked or especially X-linked disorder, so the progeny with colorblind female will be 0 in this case. 0. Pick odd one for the following statement. First statement, the terminal electron acceptor of ETC is oxygen. Yes. The electrons are transmoded in electron transport system by electron carrier protein. This is also right. The proton means H+, move from mitochondrial matrix to cytoplasm. They won't move from mitochondrial matrix. They move from mitochondrial matrix to intermediate space. So this is the odd one for this question. Complex 5 of electron transport system involving ATP synthesis. This is also right one. So option 3 is the right answer for this question. Let us move to 144th question. Carbon dioxide is a major limiting factor in photosynthesis. Select the incorrect statement regarding here. So we need to find out the incorrect statement. More than 0.05% of carbon dioxide can be damaged over long period. Yes, related to carbon dioxide limiting factor. So this is the right one, correct statement. At low light condition and high carbon dioxide concentration, C3 plant shows increased rate of photosynthesis. This is wrong one. So in this case, neither C3 plants nor C4 plants cannot allow this property. So this is the wrong, incorrect one. Remaining third and fourth are correct if you read properly those statements. So this is the correct matching, children. Gibberellin helps in seed germination, axin present in root and shoot apex, abscisic acid induce dormancy, and cytokinin overcome apical dominance. Let us see the questions related to zoology. Select the cell junction that facilitate communication between adjacent cells for rapid transfer of ions and molecule. For the adjacent cell and the rapid transfer of ions and molecule, the junction involved is gap junction. Select the incorrect statement among them. So in 152 we need to find out the incorrect statement. HCG and HPL and relaxin are produced in women only during pregnancy. Yes, it is a correct statement. During pregnancy relaxin is produced by ovary. This is also right. Placenta also acts as endocrine tissue because it produces some hormones. This is also right one. Trophoblast contains stem cells. No, trophoblast no. Inner mast cells contain stem cells. So this is the incorrect statement regarding this female reproductive system or during pregnancy. Let us go to 153 question. The condition diuresis can be defined as diuresis. Children, diuresis means increase in urine volume. 154th question. Select the fatty acid from the following. Among them, fatty acid is palmitic acid. 155th question. Bursting of RBC to release a toxin called hemozoin which causes high fever and chill are the symptoms of malaria. It is a symptom of malaria. 156th question. How many features given below are not related to female frog? So reproductive organs include a pair of ovary. Yes, it is a characteristics of female frog. Then absence of copulatory pad is on the first digit of forelimb. So copulatory pad usually present in male frog. So this is not the future of absence of copulatory pad is the future of female frog. Presence of sound producing vocal sac, it is in male frog, not in female frog. The ovaries are situated near the kidney and there is a function connected with kidney. So children, ovaries are not connected with the function of the kidney. This is the wrong one. Mature female can lay 2,500 to 3,000 ova at time. No, these are the three wrong statements for female frog, whereas statement A and statement B are the two correct statement for female frogs. Let us move to the next question. The first clinical gene therapy was given in 1990. Yes, to a 4-year girl with a deficiency. A is what? A is a deficiency called ADA deficiency. And in some children, the deficiency can be cured by bone marrow transplantation. So A is ADA, B is bone marrow transplantation is the right one. Let us go to 158th question. A chronic disorder characterized by the damage of alveolar wall and decreased respiratory surface is the characteristics of emphysema disease. Let us move to the next question. Choose the odd with respect to axial skeleton. Axial skeleton includes atlas and axis. Yes. Tibia, fibula are the part of hind limbs, not axial skeleton. So this is the odd with respect to the axial skeleton. 160th question. Select the correct set containing only diploid cells. The diploid cells during spermatogenesis and oogenesis we can find in spermatogonia and primary oocyte. These two are diploid and remaining are haploid. Let us go to the next one. Fetal ejection reflex triggers release of X hormone from maternal pituitary gland. So the X is oxytocin. During that fetal ejection reflex, oxytocin hormone is going to release. Excessive use of antibiotic resulted in natural selection of antibiotic resistant variety of bacteria is much lesser time scale. This is an example for anthropogenic action. Low partial pressure of oxygen and high partial pressure of carbon dioxide and high hydrogen ion and high temperature are the condition favorable for these conditions are favorable for dissociation of oxygen from oxyhemoglobin into the body tissue. Easily oxygen can be dissociated. A hormone releasing IUD is LNG20. Let us move to the next question. Choose the choose the incorrect statement with respect to the coagulation of the blood. Incorrect statement. Platelets release certain factors which are involving in clotting of the blood. Yes, right. Then certain factors released by the tissue at the site of injury also initiate coagulation. This is also right. The excess number of platelets above 3.5 lakhs. No. The platelet number is 1.5 lakh to 3.5 lakh. So this is the incorrect statement. So third point is incorrect statement. Then fibrin are also formed in the conversion of inactive fibrinogen by the help of enzyme thrombin. This is also correct one. Third one is the incorrect statement. Let us move to the next question. Select the incorrect statement. Select the incorrect statement. We need to find out in 166 question. Nidoblasts are used for anchoring defense and for the capture of prey. This is the correct statement. Then ciliated cumulates helps in locomotion in ctenophores. This is also right one. Then metameric segmentation are the characteristics of phylum Ascalmenthes. No, metameric segmentation we can find in Perithema, not in Ascalmenthes. So this is the incorrect statement. Coinocytes line in the spongocyles and in canals in the sponges. These are the right one. Third one is the right answer for this question. 167th question. In a DNA, there are 500 nucleotide base pairs. So 500 nucleotide base pairs in the length. Cytosine is 40%. What will be the number of adenine? Number of adenines. What will be the number of adenine we need to find out. So 500 nucleotide base pairs means, children, so 500 into 2 if you do, you will get 1000 nucleotides. 500 base pairs, if you multiply by 2, you will get 1000 nucleotides. Among 1000 nucleotides, cytosine how much? 40%. And we know cytosine pairs with what? Guanine. So therefore guanine percentage also how much? 40%. So 40 plus 40, total 80% we can find adenine and guanine only. Now we can find out adenine and thymine. Adenine pairs with thymine. So that number we can find out 100 minus guanine plus cytosine. So 100 minus guanine and cytosine percentage how much? 80. Then you will get 20%. So this is the composition of adenine and thymine. So adenine, thymine, how much percentage? 20%. In that adenine how much? 10%. Go adenine 10%, thymine 10%. Now we need to convert percent into number. 10% it is adenine. Now we can find out the number of adenine is equal to 1000 nucleotides are there. In 1000 nucleotides, 10 is a percentage of adenine divided by 100. So if you calculate, you will get 100. Adenine number will be 100. So 100 is the right answer for this question. Let us find out 168th question. In 168th question, observe the diagram given below and identify the correct labeling A to D. A is what? Synaptic vesicle. Then B, presynaptic membrane. C, receptor. D and D you can find out acetylcholine, neurotransmitters. So accordingly, here among the given option, D, A, 4 is the right one. That is A is a synaptic vesicle and C are the receptor. Let us move to the next question. 169th question. Assertion is vasectomy. Vasectomy can be considered as a permanent method of contraception. Yes, it is right. Reason: surgical intervention blocks gametes transport and thereby prevent contraception. Reason is wrong. So assertion is right and reason is wrong. So third statement is right here. 170th question. Select the odd one with respect to radial symmetry in adult organisms of the given phyla. So the odd one we can find out is Ascalmenthes, because in Ascalmenthes we can find bilateral symmetry, not radial symmetry. 171st question. Which of the following is incorrect with respect to apes? Apes means birds. We need to find out the incorrect one. Excretory organs is proboscis glands. So children, proboscis glands we can find in hemichordata. So that's why this is the incorrect statement. Remaining 3 statements are correct regarding apes. 172 question. In a double-stranded DNA, if double-stranded DNA is digested by particular restriction endonuclease enzyme, a little away from the center of palindromic sequence, what will happen? So in this case, what will happen? The DNA fragment will facilitate the action of DNA ligase. 173 question. In 1983, Eli Lilly company, American company, prepared 2 DNA sequences corresponding A and B of human insulin and introduced them in plasmid of E. coli bacteria. 174th question. Which of the following is not a method of diagnosis of a disease? Not a method of diagnosis of disease is radiotherapy, because radiotherapy is a method to treat the diseases like cancer. 175th question. Read the following and choose the incorrect statement. We need to find out the incorrect statement here. Recombinant DNA technology serves the purpose of early diagnosis of disease. This is the right one. Reproductive tract infection could lead to severe complications like PID, stillbirth, ectopic pregnancy, cancer, etc. This is also correct statement. Then hepatitis B and HIV can be transmitted by sharing infected needles. This is also correct. Mature insulin consists of 3 polypeptide chains. No, mature insulin consists of 2 polypeptide chains. So this is the incorrect statement. Let us move to the next question. 176 question. Which of the following belongs to class of Mammalia? The class of Mammalia is Canis, because Canis includes domestic animals. 177 question. Select the odd one with secondary metabolite. So the odd one with respect to secondary metabolite is tyrosine, because tyrosine is an amino acid, whereas concanvaline, vinblastine and trypsin are the secondary metabolites. 178th question, during fertilization, a sperm comes in contact with X. The sperm comes in contact with zona pellucida of the ovum and induces changes in the membrane that why the entry of additional sperm, that blocks the entry of additional sperm. So option 1 is the right answer for this question. 179th, a person with which of the following blood groups can receive blood from universal donor only? That is, answer is O. Next question, select an autoimmune disorder that affects neuromuscular junction. The autoimmune disorder that affects neuromuscular junction is myasthenia gravis. 181 question, dash are located in the walls of the hollow visceral organs. In the hollow visceral organ, what type of muscle we can find? We can find smooth muscle. Next one, 182 question, select the odd one with respect to parathyroid hormone. For parathyroid hormone, the odd one is it stimulates mineralization of the bones. Remaining 3 statements are performed by parathyroid hormone. 183, all of the following are triploblastic coelomate except gorgonia, because gorgonia is a diploblastic and it is nidaria, not coelomate, it is a nidarian. Let us go to 184th question. Select the incorrect statement. Among that, the incorrect statement is partial pressure of carbon dioxide in alveolar air is only 45 mmHg. It is wrong one. So this is the incorrect one, because in alveolar air, partial pressure of carbon dioxide is lesser. 185 question, children. 185 question. In Rana tigrina frog, the hind limb ends with 4 digits and the hind limb ends with 5 digits and fore limb ends with 4 digits. 5 and 4 is the right answer. Let us move to the next question. In Periplanetae americana cockroach, a pair of large ovaries are present in 2nd to 6th abdominal segment. 187th question, which of the following statement are correct with respect to regulation of kidney function? For the regulation of kidney function, which one is the correct statement? We need to find out. ANF is a vasoconstrictor rho, it is a wrong one. Renin converts angiotensin 2 to angiotensin 1 to 2 it will convert, not 2 to 1, wrong one. Then erythropoietin is produced by vasa recta of juxtamedullary nephron, no, it is also wrong one. So when normal person drinks a lot of water, ADH releases is suppressed. So this one is the right one for this question. Let us move to the next question. Read the following statement carefully. Choose the option that is incorrectly explained. Proteins are the chain of amino acids which are linked by peptide bond. This is correct one. We need to find out the incorrect one. Insulin is a polymer of fructose. Inulin is a polymer of fructose. It is also right one. Starch hold iodine molecule in a helical portion and gives blue color. This is also right one. The sugar found in polynucleotide is always ribose. It can be ribose, it can be deoxyribose. So fourth statement is wrong here. Let us go to 189 question. Select the correct statement. Here the correct statement, if you can read, it is one can ligate foreign DNA at BAM H1 site of tetracycline resistant gene in PBR322. Remaining 3 are the incorrect statement. In muscle, X is called functional unit of contraction. So in muscle, functional unit of contraction is sarcomere, and Y is anatomical unit. Muscle fiber is anatomical unit. Then 191 question. There is a reaction given here, and this reaction is catalyzed by enzyme. So this enzyme belongs to which class? This enzyme belongs to this class is second class, that is transferases. As there is a transfer of group here, that's why it belongs to transferases enzyme. 192 question, if a change in allele frequency occurs by chance, if you find, then it is definitely leads to genetic drift. Let us move to the next question. 193 question. 193. Who makes decision regarding the validity of GM research and the safety of introducing GM organisms for the public service? The one who gives decision for the validity is Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. 194th question. Read the statement carefully and select the incorrect with respect to PCR. With respect to PCR, we need to find out the incorrect one. If a cycle repeated 30 times, the DNA samples can be amplified million times. This is the correct statement. Then the tag polymerase adds nucleotide in 3' to 5' direction. No, it is in 5' to 3' direction. Denaturation requires separate strand double-stranded DNA. DNA polymerase used as a primary extension steps. Yes. So statement 2 is wrong. Remaining 3 are right about polymerase chain reaction. Read the following statement and select the correct option. 195 fifth question. Statement A, DNA fragments can be separated by technical gel electrophoresis. Right. The separated DNA fragments can be visualized only after staining the DNA with the ethidium bromide followed by exposure to UV light. Both the statements are right here. Statement A and statement B both are right in this case. Now we need to match column 1 with column 2. Normal blood pressure is 120 by 80 mm of Hg. Duration of cardiac cycle is 0.8 second. Duration between lub-dub is 0.5 seconds. So option 1 is the right answer for this question. Let us go to 197th question. Read the following statement with respect to prostomium of perithema and choose the incorrect statement one from the given option. Incorrect statement we need to find out. So it is a sensory in function, right? A lobe which serves as covering for mouth. This is also right one. It is a first body segment, buccal cavity, which contains mouth. So this is the incorrect statement regarding prostomium of cockroach. 198th question. The floor of scala media is formed of. The floor of scala media is formed of basilar membrane. You can find this in ear. 199th question. The population of human is 90 out of 1000 babies are affected by recessive condition called cystic fibrosis. In this population, the frequency of heterozygous condition is. So if you consider P plus Q whole square formula, so Q square you consider as 90 among 1000. If you take this ratio, it will be around 0.09 Q square. If you want to find out Q, then it will be root of 0.09. So Q you will get how much? 0.3. So if you want to find out P, then it will be from 1 minus Q. If you do 1 minus Q, 1 minus 0.3 is 0.7. So P is 0.7 and Q is 0.3. Then 2PQ will be how much, children? 2 into 0.7 into 0.3. How much will get? We'll get 0.42. 2PQ is equal to 0.42. So here 0.42 is the right answer for this question. Let us go to the last question. Select the incorrect pair. Here incorrect pair, corpus callosum, connection between cerebral hemisphere, right one. Association area contains number of centers which controls body temperature, urge for drinking. Temperature is controlled by hypothalamus, not by association area. Hypothalamus contains several groups of neurosecretory cells, correct. Medulla oblongata contains centers which controls respiration, cardiovascular activity. This is also right one. So option 2 is right, wrong answer for this question. I hope this is useful to you, children. Thank you.